Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Naokinza Oliver and it is early in the morning. That would explain why there's all this glare in the background. Usually I think I shoot my videos in the middle of the day or towards the evening. Now there's no rhyme or reason for that. I think that's just when I have the time. But today I decided to get a head start and jump early. In fact, I think I still have the do-rag lines on my forehead. So, yikes. I think I even still have Vaseline just put on my face to get ready for this. Alright, well, I think that all is kind of related to today's video topic. Now, apologies, I'm trying out different SEO things, so if this title is still kind of clickbaity, I'm not sure what I'm going to name it just yet, but if it's a little clickbaity, my apologies, just allow it. Alright, so today's topic is going to be about baths, and more specifically, why I love baths as a man, and even more specifically, why I love baths as a black man. Now, I know there are probably some people who are thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Why do you have to bring race into it? Well, I think we'd be lying if we tried to deny that everything is related socioeconomically or politically or even ethnically and gender-wise. That's how it is. That's the world we live in. Everything is connected. It's not black and white. It's a lot of shades of gray. And I think something as so innocuous as enjoying bubble baths, while it might seem one way for one group, it might also, be revolutionary, I guess, for another group. Not saying that me taking bubble baths as a black man is some kind of act of revolution, but I do think that it's something that, there's a connection there that is worth discussing because it's all part of my history and my experience with bubble baths. But all that out of the way, let's dive into baths. First things first, why I like baths. Yeah, I think it's kind of like asking someone why they like food or why they like to breathe. For me, it just feels natural, something that I naturally am inclined to do. And I think the first time I can remember actually having baths as a form of like leisure as well as a form of, getting clean, I think back in my childhood. Now, most people who have siblings close in age will probably share the same memories of your parents giving you both baths. It's like, killing two birds with one stone. So just give both kids, or sometimes three kids, because we had a younger sister, just give three kids a bath at once. Good to go, get out of it. So I think when I was like 6 or 7 or 8, my brother and I used to take baths together, sometimes with a younger sister. But I think there was a period in time when I think I must have been 6 or 7. This is before we moved to the apartments, before we moved to Celebration. So this is like back in the day. I think we lived in Torrey Pines in Orlando. So shout out to Torrey Pines. But I remember that my brother and I just really loved the idea of baths. Like, it was great. For any of those like 80s babies, 90s kids, or maybe even 90s kids, 2000s kids, or even I think kids from any generation, they had bath toys. We had bath toys. So like, they could be either like repurposed Happy Meal toys, or they would be like Fisher Price toys we bought specifically for the bath. But yeah, we'd have bath time and it would be great. It'd be like Water World inside the tub. Like, we'd have our pirates, so we'd have our, our ships or whatever, and we'd just be in the bath having a great time. That was fun. So that was one of the first things why I like taking baths. It's a fun way for my brother and I, as little kids, as little jits, to just let our imaginations run wild. But after a while, the bath toys just weren't hitting. It wasn't stimulating our imagination enough. So at that point, we decided to play salon, and yeah. So we would just like shampoo and condition each other's hair. Like, that would be the thing. We'd pretend like, oh, welcome to the salon. My name is so and so. What would you like to have done to your hair today? Oh, I'd like a shampoo, please. Okay, and we'd shampoo our hair. Now, I should note that at that point we had really short hair. My dad ran a tight ship, and he wanted our hair to be cropped, especially as black boys. I think my dad, he grew up in like Jim Crow era Georgia, so he was all about we had to be like sharp, clean at all times, which totally understandable. But yeah, so we had short hair, but yet we would shampoo and condition the daylights out of it. And yeah, our mom would be like, yeah, sure, whatever, as long as these kids are quiet. So I think there was a time where I think we got a bit older, so I was like 7 and my brother was 5, and we could take baths by ourselves, like unsupervised. And I think there was one time where I was being shampooed by my brother, I believe. And back in the day they had like this no tears, no cry shampoo. It's a lie. I'm telling you that right now. It's a lie. I cried. I think something or other happened, and I ended up getting some shampoo in my eyes. And that was the end of the salon experience for me. Like, I bawled. I think we turned on the shower. I washed my eyes out. Obviously, it didn't affect my eyesight that bad. I still have pretty crap eyesight. But I think it's an experience that any kid goes through. You get shampoo in your eyes and you cry, and then you don't want to ever shampoo your hair ever again. So for me and my brother and I, after that experience of me getting shampoo in my eye, that was the end of our salon play dates. That was it. So but after that, I still enjoyed baths. I would just take solo baths at that point, and I'd bring toys into the bathtub and I'd play with them and all that stuff. And it's something that just progressed as I got older. I think for a lot of boys, as you get older, you kind of stop taking bubble baths because they're seen as girly or feminine, and then you just start taking showers. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna take a shower and I'm out of here. But for me, I always liked both. I would take a shower before the bath, and then I would take a shower after the bath to rinse off. And that's something that we do here in Japan as well. So it wasn't an alien concept to me when I came here. But yeah, I just loved it. So I would, as a teenager, especially when I was a moody teenager, oh my goodness, I would play the Outlaw Star soundtrack or listen to M-Flow, and I'd play that on a radio, or I'm sorry, on a CD player or a boombox. That would be, I think on the sink far away from the bathtub. I'd listen to music on that, and then I would just sit in the bathtub and just be a moody 15-year-old. And yeah, it was great. I loved it. So that's kind of where my love for baths began. As a child, taking baths with my siblings, and then as a emo, moody teenager trying to just, zone out and chill in the bathtub. And then moving to Japan. Japan has, I think a pretty world famous bath culture, from hot springs to Sento. And obviously I'm tatted up. I have a lot of tattoos. And I can't go into the hot springs unless, one, tattoos are okay, or B, I use a private bath in my room. So when my wife and I go, we usually we get a bath in our ryokan. And I think for me, that's something that's okay. I wasn't necessarily too keen, even before I had a lot of tattoos that were noticeable. I wasn't too keen on sharing naked time with other random men. And it's not because I don't like men or because I don't want to be naked in front of people. No, it's that if I'm going to go somewhere, especially with my partner, I only go to these places with my wife. So my wife and I are going to spend all this time to venture out to an onsen. Then I kind of want to spend time with her together in the onsen. And most onsens are, they're not co-ed. They're separated by gender. So it doesn't make sense for me to, my wife to venture all the way to another prefecture to go to this really nice onsen hotel for us to just be like, okay, well, see you later. So I'd rather just my wife and I have a private bath in our own room in our ryokan, and then we can do whatever we want in that bath. We can drink tea, we can listen to American football, we can talk, we can just hang out, and we can enjoy the scenery that comes with that. So yeah, my love for baths probably only increased once I got to Japan. In fact, moving to Japan has opened me up to using more bath salts. Now, bath salts exist in America, obviously. Bed Bath & Beyond would have bath bombs or Lush, things of that nature. All these things exist in America. But for some reason, I think I just wasn't checking for them. I think when I moved to Tokyo, back in the day, I would just use dish detergent for bubble baths. And then after a while, I just started buying bath salts from the supermarket. Really cheap and inexpensive bath salts. But yeah, my bath experience now is top notch. In fact, let's talk about that. What is my bath experience like now, or my bath setup? So my bath setup right now, I've got it down to fine art for maximum relaxation for myself. So in the past, when I used to drink, it would be a bottle of rosé and maybe 2 highballs, like Asahi, like the silver ones. I'll put a picture of it right here. So these bad boys. I have 2 tall boys of these. And I'd also have a bottle of water, and I would be obnoxious. I think I would sing Celine Dion and just, be in the bathtub. I'd be fighting people on Facebook and all this nonsense. But those days are long gone. I still like to have drinks. I'm in the bathtub now. So for me now, it's usually I'll have a canister of lemon water that I'll make, like a tall, I guess, whatever. I forgot the word in English, but just in Japanese, a suito. So I'll have a suito of lemon water that I'll make, and then I'll have probably, if I can find tall boys, off tall boys, but if not, I'll just have regular size non-alcoholic beers, probably 2 or 3. And I don't drink them all in the bath, but the thing is, I'd rather have more than I need so I can stay submerged in the bath as opposed to having to get out, come to the kitchen, and get another drink. That just kind of ruins the vibe for me. So I try to take in a bit more than I need in the bath because I can always put the beers back. So yeah, so I have to have my drinks. That's number one. And then number two is I have to have my music. So I put my phone in one of those swimming bags that you can use to put your phone in. So I think everyone knows what it is. I'll put a picture of something of it up here right now. In fact, I'll grab it. Hold on a second. Let me grab it for you. I'll show you. Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is like a phone bag that you can use for, I guess, if you're on vacation, you go swimming, you can put your phone in there. I also use it for the baths. I have two of these, and I recommend them. It doesn't have to be this exact brand. It can be any brand. But yeah, I put my phone in here so I can listen to music, and I can also check my Instagram, and I can see how my ads are performing on my phone. I used to use Ziploc bag. Yeah, I guess it was so terrible, my body won't let me say it. Hold on. I used to use Ziploc bags in the past, but I don't recommend that. I recommend getting one of these, I guess, waterproof cases for your phone. And yeah, and then I still use the dish detergent for the bubbles, but I also have proper bath salts, and I have a good time in the bath. In fact, I think I stay in the bath so much that sometimes I get like Charlie horses on my feet. Now, it's not every time, but let's say if I have like a good 3-day run of baths, like I have amazing baths every day for 3 days. By that third bath on the third day, after I come out of the bathtub, I'm expecting to have Charlie horse cramps. So I'll probably put some Vicks Vapor Rub on the soles of my feet so I can hopefully prevent the cramps, because they're gnarly, because your body loses so much moisture, I think, from being in the bath for so long that you just cramp up and it sucks. All right, so that's that. So that's how I started getting into baths, and that's why I like baths, I guess. Put those two together, and it's also how I enjoy baths now. And I guess we'll talk about a couple more things. I'm trying to plan these videos out. Let me see. Let me check my notes out right here. Oh yes. Well, why? Let's talk about why I like baths even more. I'm gonna cut this part. But yeah, I think the main theme of why I like baths is relaxation and detachment. So even from being a child to being now a moody adult who was a moody teenager once, I think the correlating theme between all of these experiences has been relaxation and detachment. As a kid, you just relax by playing and letting your imagination run wild. I think that might have been more of a detachment than relaxing. Or just, as a kid, just adventures and imagination. As a moody teen, I was trying to detach and relax. Now, what I was trying to detach from, no idea. I had a really wonderful childhood and a really wonderful adolescence. I think I was just trying to fit a vibe. I think I was aura farming back in 2001. Yikes. But yeah, good times. I still had a fun time, and I still really cherish those memories of, just self-care for me. And then now as an adult, I think, specifically it's a way for me to detach and kind of shut my brain off for an hour or so and just relax. Due to the nature of my day job, and then with me working on Moondahlia, or me even now working on this, and I'm always trying to do something. I always have a scheme running in my head. I think most creatives who are in this position can understand that your day job is not the job you want to do for the rest of your life. Now, you're very happy to have the day job, but ultimately you'd want to just do your creative pursuits forever. For example, for me, I can't wait for the day where I can just, focus on Moondahlia or focus on avecnayo projects and get paid for that. And I mean get paid in the sense that they generate enough money for me to financially be able to say, hey, it makes sense for me to focus on this solely for the time being. But thinking of that whilst working, and then everything else about being alive, it can be a bit daunting on your mental. So for me, I just like to take baths as a way to detach. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I detach all the way because I do bring in my phone into the bath, and I think that I usually use that time to catch up on all my friends who send me memes and reels. So even though I'm trying to relax, I'm watching a bunch of Instagram reels and replying like ha 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 and LOL. So, but at least it gives me the space to pretend like I'm relaxing and detaching. Now, there are some days that, once I've caught up on all my reels and I've refreshed the bath once or twice, where I can achieve this state of bath nirvana, where I take out my contacts before I go in the bathtub. So if you go in the bath to do this, you should take out your contacts. And also, I'm going to preface by saying I'm a really tall dude in Tokyo. So my bathtub, even though I have a really nice, spacious bathtub right now, it's not big enough for me to drown in, if you know what I mean. So for me, I can actually I can safely nap for about 15 to 30 minutes, and I love it. Like a bath nap for me is like the ultimate form of bliss. It's like nirvana. There's nothing more awesome than blacking out, quote unquote, for about 15 to 30 minutes and waking up just like, oh, I just had a really good bath nap. I should probably drink some water. But yeah, that's the best for me. I love bath naps. But like I said, most of my baths, I'm just hanging out, replying to my friends' reels that they send me on Instagram. And I need to do better. I probably need to have real time outside of the bath. But yeah, so those are some of the reasons as to why I loved baths in the first place, and why I continue to like baths now, and then what baths mean to me at this stage in my life. And then let's talk about the reason why I specifically said as a black man. Yeah, so first of all, let's break this down. One, as a man. I think, as I mentioned before, when I was a teenager, I might have been the only one in my male friend group who were taking baths. My female friends were taking baths, but my male friends, it was kind of like, no, I don't take baths. I take showers. What? Baths are for little girls and old women. But for me, I liked baths. I didn't think there was anything feminine with it. I just liked being in the silky bubble bath and having my M-Flow music playing in the background. Yeah, maybe that was quite effeminate, but didn't matter. Traditionally, I think there's an expectation of men to just enjoy showers because it's efficient and it's quick and you can get back to work and be done with it. I think the image of men taking time for self-care, whether it be getting manis and pedis or using face masks or having a spa day or just relaxing, depending on the culture you're from, it can either be seen as, oh, that's kind of cool, or people can downright hate on it. Obviously, women have it worse throughout the world. That's not a contest. Not at all. It's not a comparison. But I do think that for men, there's a certain expectation of, specifically in the Western world too, or even in the East where I live in Asia, sometimes it feels like as a man, you're only valued for your labor, like what you can provide. Now, granted, it's men that made that world. The patriarchy was made by men. So we did it to ourselves. Well, not me. Black men didn't do it. I didn't do that to myself. Not in this situation, not in my specific background. But the patriarchy that I experienced in the West and the patriarchy that I experienced in the East is a patriarchy that was built without my specific group of dudes having any input in it. But still, it's patriarchy nonetheless, and patriarchy affects men and women. Obviously, it affects women way worse. But I think one of the outliers that we can talk about as men when it relates to bubble baths is that bubble baths are seen as effeminate, and that if you're a man who takes time for any type of self-care, whether it be skincare, mental care, or just relaxation and de-stressing, then you're failing somehow as a man because you're not out in the fields or out in the factories working and providing. So yeah. So for me, I don't know, maybe it's a bit of an act of resistance to be a dude, especially like a tatted up dude with like plugs and stuff who loves to take bubble baths. I don't know, read into that what you will. But also, I think the image of a black man enjoying bubble baths is still a bit unconventional. For black men, we exist on a very specific, I want to say, stereotypical field. So, for example, we all know that throughout the world, black women are seen as hyper aggressive and hyper masculine. Well, that's because they're in tandem with us. Black men are also seen as hyper aggressive, hyper masculine. Just black guys, we're thugs. Even from different types of corn to different types of entertainment, whether it be sports or music, the black guy archetype is King Kong, I'm a super thug, I'm a BBC, and not the broadcasting station. And I don't think the image of relaxation and taking care of yourself is attached to that image. The image that black men tend to have in aggressive forms of popular culture is tough, gangster, or criminally inclined, tough again, and then have three legs. So yeah, so I think that for me, I do like to see discussions of men talking about, hey, I want to, take care of myself. I want to, maybe get a mental health checkup. I want to go to a therapist, but also maybe I want to do a spa day. I want to take care of myself. I want to wear a mask. I want to protect my skin from the sun, because the sun doesn't have a gender-based discrimination standard. It'll mess up everybody. So I like seeing men engage with aspects of self-care. And as a black man, I like to see black men specifically engage with aspects of self-care, including bubble baths. So that's why I named the video what I named it. I'm pretty sure I named the video why I like taking baths as a black man. I think that's what I'm gonna name it. But yeah, let me stop yapping. All right. Well, yeah, I've been yapping all day about baths. And in fact, I think I'm going to go take a bath after this. So if you watched it to the end, thank you so much for watching it. I'll try to keep my yapping in line in further videos. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep my yapping in line in future videos. But yeah, I'm going to go take a bath now, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.